Tony, are you ready? The time has come. You better use yourself.
Tony, you better be good because you took my spot.
Ooh. Well, I don't know if I'm good, but...
No, I'm kidding. I'm just...
You're busting chops. It's all right. Mira, hermano, ¿cómo tú te llamas?
Santiago.
Santiago. Gracias. So, I'm a gringo from Virginia. This will be in English. I apologize. Maybe some Spanglish to throw in.
It's okay.
So, lo siento por coming to your island and, no habla español. So, pero un poquito, or poco. All right, tonight I'd like to tell you a story about my father. I'm grieving his loss. He was a big man who lived many lives in one. He was just 65 years old when he lost his battle to stage 4 cancer.
How long ago?
October 6th of 23.
May he rest in peace.
Yes, Jack fucking Biter. May he rest in peace. And if I cry tonight, he would call me a bitch.
You're not.
No. I'm not gonna cry. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're in a safe space, bro. I cried up there, so.
I'm there mentally too. So it's kind of a funny story though. So despite the little Debbie Downer in the beginning, my father's from New York, Long Island. His dad was basically connected in the mob. I don't know if I should be saying that because I'm an active duty Coast Guard officer. I'm probably not going to pass my next security investigation, but that's okay. He had a hard life. He lived many lives. He joined the Navy. He smoked weed in St. Thomas, got kicked out, or went to the brig on the ship when they pulled out of St. Thomas. He joined the Army, left that, joined 1% biker clubs, and then, believe it or not, he became a police officer. Kind of, what a weird dichotomy. But anyway, this story is about one of my tattoos. Any math people here tonight? Mathematician? Engineers? Anybody remember the Pythagorean Theorem?
Yes.
Alright, so what's the Pythagorean Theorem?
A squared
Plus b squared equals c squared, right? Okay, alright. You're probably like wondering, where is this going? I promise you, there's an end. So, when I was about in, what grade you learned that in? 6th, 7th, 8th? Something like that, right? Middle school? Yeah. Middle school? I was in middle school. I was a sensitive child with a lot of feelings.
I think that's in 10th grade, bro.
10th grade?
In the States, it's middle school.
Yeah. In the States, it's like 7th if you're like a little advanced. 8th, they teach it in 8th. So, I wasn't advanced, but I took it in 8th. So anyway. And how old are you in 8th grade about? 14, 13? Yeah, so I was a sensitive male child in the state of Virginia. Out back, he was trying to square off the foundation of a shed. It was like 20 by 15. And he's out there, he started in the morning about 9 o'clock. I was sitting in the house. I came out there. I was a little talkative little guy. And I was asking my dad, like most children do, "What are you doing, Dad? Can I help you? Can I help you? What are you doing?" And he's now is a father of 2 boys, and I totally understand this frustration. He's sitting there, and he's going, "Quit talking. I'm trying to figure it out. Every shed, you have to build a foundation. And the foundation, like I said, was going to be about 20 by 15. And anybody here have experience squaring off a foundation? Yeah? It's a pain in the ass, right? If you don't know some simple math, the Pythagorean Theorem. Well, my dad thought concrete grew on the streets, so he was having a hard time figuring this out. He'd move the left post, he'd measure, adjust the right post, measure, and it'd be off. And he did this for about an hour, where I finally ran up to him. I was like, Dad. It's really simple. You just got to do the Pythagorean Theorem. And he goes, "The Pythagorean Theorem? What's that?" And I said, "Dad, it's this thing." And he goes, "Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Go the fuck inside." So I run away as a little 14-year-old boy, cry on the couch, eat my feelings. And he's out there for about another 2 hours. Rest in peace. And he finally comes in about lunchtime. And I'll never forget. He looks at me and goes, "Hey, son. What the fuck were you talking about earlier?" I was like, "Oh, Dad, the Pythagorean Theorem. What are the measurements of the shed? What do you need?" He goes, 15 by 20. I said, "Oh, great. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, Dad." He goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "Here's C squared." Give him the number. We went outside. We squared off the shed in about 5 minutes. So I tell this story because in the end, in his last 10 months of life, in January we were talking about getting a tattoo together. And he said, "What should we get?" He sent me a bunch of really lame stuff, like a father holding a son, walking hand in hand. I was like, "Dad, nah, I'm not Epstein. Chill out, bro." So anyway, I said to him, "We got to get A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We got to get the Pythagorean Theorem tattooed on us. That should be our matching tattoo." He goes, "Really? I treated you like an asshole." And I was like, "Yeah, but it didn't matter, Dad. I love that memory because it shows, it's so beautiful because it shows a grown 30-something-year-old, 40-something-year-old man listening to his 14-year-old son." And he goes, "All right, I'll get it." I said, "Yeah, and for the rest of your life, you're going to have to tell this story." And so he died 10 months later, but he got it done on his right wrist, right here. And I got mine done on my right tricep-ish, above the elbow. And I told him, I said, "Even after you're gone, I'll continue to be able to tell this story." So, thank you all for listening to my story about my dad.
What's his name? What's your dad's name?
Gracias. My dad?
Your dad's name?
Yeah, so his name is Jack Joseph Biter, but we always just called him Jack fucking Biter because he had the personality of, he walk in this room and make you feel special no matter where you're at in life, and he'd listen. And mira, escuchos a todos anoche. Y thank you for sharing your music, your poems, your stories. The human experience is real, and this is what it's all about. So I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you for sharing your story about your dad.
You don't need that list.